Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. Find frequent updates there, more information regarding elevating traders. You can join discussions, chat about different trading opportunities, share trading opportunities. I'm there as well. So if you do want to chat, check it out. Completely free to join. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, welcome back to another stream. As always, we'll go through the markets together. Raphael, I will go through Euro USD and we'll take a look at it. But yes, we definitely could see some Euro weakness. Base of a cut on interest rate 100%. Sultani, what is up? Hope you well. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream. Cease Integrated. Good morning. Hope you are well. Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone had a good weekend. So as always, we'll go through the DXY. We'll go through USD side of things first. And we'll take a look at the USD majors and gold and silver. I'll probably go through some indices as well. If there are any particular requests you guys do want me to take a look at on any particular time frames as well, let me know in the chat. And of course, we'll discuss, take a look together and see what the market is giving us. But we'll start with the dollar. What's up, William? Hope you're doing good. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Cease Integrate, can see if 106.847 will hold or not. Okay, let's go have a look, see. So with the dollar, I'm still very much looking at downside for this one. I'm very much looking at the bullish move we saw at the end of last week being a pullback for some more shorts. However, I've been looking for a little bit more of a pullback than this. Things are looking pretty bearish this morning, but I was hoping to see a slightly bigger correction, which still could come into play around the 108 slash 108.2 area. That's kind of the area I was looking for price to get to before looking for shorting opportunities on the dollar and buying euro, buying pound, and you'll see the opportunities I want to go through. But USD, that is really the take I have with the 4-hour chart for now. We still do have these previous swing highs. All I'm looking to do is try and catch the next one. We've got some really healthy bearish structure, and if we are going to form a lower high, I'm looking for it to be in and around that area. And targets, keeping it pretty simple, back to the prior low. Perhaps we could talk about the lows here at 105.6 as well, but we'll save that for another day. At least look for a push to the low, and perhaps we might go further. For now, that is still very much the move I'm interested in. And as I said, price is looking pretty bearish right now. So potentially maybe the price makes the move already. Not in my area of interest, so I won't be getting involved in any USD positions just yet, apart from dollar CAD. That's still roughly in the area which I'm interested in, which we'll go through in a second. But yeah, USD is looking pretty bearish right now. Cease Integrated, you said 106.847. 106.847. So that's roughly around over here-ish. Not bang on the money, but roughly around that area. So I presume you're looking for buys around there to take it back up again. Possibly. I mean, that would be beneficial for myself as well. If price can come back, retest that consolidation and see some upside, and then I can get my shorts maybe later in the week from this area here, 108 slash 108.2 is the area I'm focused on. So yeah, with USD, that could be a nice place for a long. There was a lot of momentum off the back of last week. So it was a strong breakout. Hence, it would be nice for a retest of this area. Yet to have a retest as well. So it's still relatively fresh. Dropping to the hourly chart, you can see a massive candle breaking through. So it was a strong break. So on the lower time frames, there could be some nice longs there for USD on the way back up before we do get those shorts. So if you are on intraday time frames, hourly and below, perhaps maybe looking for some long opportunities could actually make some sense in some of the USD pairs for now. But this is still a move I am interested in. So if we take a look at Euro, which I'm looking at pretty much the exact opposite. As I mentioned on the weekly analysis, if you haven't checked it out, make sure you go and do so. Post it on the channel on Saturday. But this is the setup I'm looking at for euro. Nice consolidation there, really strong move to the upside. I'm essentially looking for the next test of this trend line, for the next higher low, and a swing back to resistance is very much the play. So pretty much the opposite of what I'm looking to do on the DXY. Again, likewise with euro, we've left behind a really strong consolidation here, which price broke through very aggressively on Thursday, I believe. Yeah, Thursday. So perhaps we could see a retest of this before seeing some more downside, which again could be a nice opportunity, probably on the hourly or 30, even 15-minute chart. If you really want to refine the entry, that could be a nice area to take price back down again. So again, not really a move I'm interested in myself, but that could be the trade for most of the week, perhaps. And then maybe Thursday, Friday, we actually do get to these areas where we can discuss some longs. But for now, I do like the shorts there. Really strong break to the downside. USD was very, very strong at the time. So it was a healthy breakout, and I would expect the retest to hold. This could be the higher low for price to push through. So, of course, if you don't see any indication of rejection, step back. But if we do see some aggressive wicks, bearish engulfing candles, that could be a really nice short to take and swing it back into the low. But for myself, from a swing perspective, this is still the idea I'm looking to play for euro this week, back into 1.05, and again, potentially further. There are some targets I have which I will consider, but we need to get the trade first, and then I'll start talking about 1.06 in a bit more detail. Pound USD, I still really like this one as well. It's looking a tad bullish this morning, of course. Looks like USD is looking a bit weak, so all the USD majors kind of reacting in that way. But I still do have a really nice area of confluence just below price, which is this lovely level of price support. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Lovely level of price support once, twice, resistance twice there as well. We've talked a lot about this level here at 1.25. And of course, we do have that trend line running through the market as well. So I've been looking for price to come back, retest the zone, and then, of course, form the next higher low for a push, at least back to the high. But I do expect us to see a push back into 1.28 if the market is really going to have that reversal. But of course, a push back into the swing high, it makes a load of sense. And that will be a really nice target back to 1.27. So again, for pound USD, still looking for a deeper correction. So that theme of dollar potentially pushing to the upside a little bit further this week does look good in comparison with pound, in comparison with euro. Kind of does fit the play pretty well. So I'm looking to see if we can get that move. Again, perhaps not. Maybe pound does push the upside from here, but that's just not my trade to take. So I am looking for a little bit more downside for pound into 1.25. Hopefully you can find some entries later in the week. Dollar CAD, I like this one to the downside as well. However, being patient for entries, we are coming back into a nice level of resistance. In fact, we're not quite there yet. So again, still want to see a bit more upside for dollar CAD. Again, we had this massive sell-off, massive rejection a couple of weeks back, coming into a really, really strong level on the weekly chart, which is into this resistance once, twice, and now there a third time. You can see the two prior rejections from this level created massive, massive downside. So there is a good chance we do see some more downside in the coming weeks for dollar CAD. And my plan is simply to try and catch that next lower high. We had the first, well, it's not the first high, lower high because it's the high of the market, but we came down, broke structure. So I'm looking for the first lower high and looking to see if we can take it at least back into the low of the consolidation, which is this support level, but more so back into the swing low here at 1.41. So my plan this week is looking to short dollar CAD and see if I can take it back into the lows there. But we'll wait and see. Again, price action in those areas is going to be very, very important. How we reject, how much momentum we see, wicks, size of candles, all of that will play a part whether I do get the trade or not. But we are coming into a nice area where we could see a lower high, which is the most important thing. And I believe we're pulling back into the 50 of the fib as well from this drop. So yeah, more or less coming into the 50. You got the 0.618 just above us. We might spike into that as well. But more or less, with a nice area of confidence for a short for dollar CAD, just waiting for a good trade opportunity, really. And if I go take a look at Aussie dollar, so Aussie dollar, that was very, very bearish last week. I think Aussie was a bit weak as well. Of course, combined with the USD strength, price had a really aggressive move to the downside. So with Aussie dollar, I've been looking for some longs on the retest of the consolidation here. Of course, that did not happen last week. we had this counter trend line which kept the market pretty bearish. I was looking to see if we could have a strong reaction above that trend line, and that would have been my entry signal. However, that never happened. Price stayed bearish and we had a really aggressive sell. So since we've broken through that, I'm kind of backing away from Aussie dollar and expecting to see a little bit more downside back into the low here, because with an aggressive move like that, with a strong daily candle close as well, strong weekly candle close as well, it does look like momentum has shifted back to the bears here for Aussie dollar. And it does look like AUD currencies and NZD currencies are pretty weak. Currency pairs are pretty weak, with Aussie and New Zealand being exceptionally weak. I think those are the two weakest currencies right now. So yeah, I do think we'll probably see some more downside here for Aussie dollar. And I don't really have a good setup right now for this one. Perhaps there might be some nice pullbacks this week, something like that. And there could be some longs off the low here. But yeah, I don't really see anything high probability for myself just yet. Likewise with New Zealand dollar as well, really aggressive move to the downside. Does look like price could be pushing back to the low here. There could be a nice correction this week of that bearish move and then a drop. Again, don't really have a nice level to short from other than this low here, but I think that's a little bit far away. I'll still keep an eye on it just in case we do get that pullback. But yeah, I'm not too sure if we'll have a pullback as big as that to get there before some sells. But there was a lot of momentum last week, just about wick through these lows here. We probably will see a deeper test of 0.554 before potentially seeing some upside. But yeah, New Zealand dollar looking pretty weak as well. Going over to gold. So gold was pretty bearish at the end of last week as well, and I'm still expecting a bit more downside for gold as well. I'm looking to see if we can get the retest of the price swing higher over here at 27.89. We've got some support / consolidation, which price broke out of last week as well. And that's kind of the area I'm interested in for some shorts for gold, back into around 2,900. See a retest of that zone and get the next drop, at least back into the prior low. Can always look to try and hold small positions to run to see if we can get back to the high there. But in terms of probability, you've got a great chance of price coming back into here. As soon as you try and push the trade a little bit further, that probability does drop there, because we could form a high low at any point and price potentially push on. Let's not forget, gold is still a very, very bullish market despite this bearish move. It's just it might be in a slight counter trend now, a bit of a bearish retracement before we do push back to the upside. But for now, that's still an opportunity I like. We broke structure last week as well. Had some decent momentum there. Could have been a little bit stronger, but it was a decent move. So I'm looking at lower highs and more downside. And silver, I do like silver a lot more than gold, actually. The price action is a bit better. And the reason why I like silver as well is because we're respecting a really, really big level on the daily chart, or daily weekly chart. Really strong resistance here. Price tried to break through last week. It did not end too well. As we can see, price closed above, but more so it just rejected that area, a bit of a fake out. And now price is firmly below. So for us to push back the swing high here, which was the plan for myself last week for silver, if we got the confident break of this level, I'll be looking at pullbacks all the way up to the high. Of course, we can see we didn't get that. Price tried to break to the upside, but now it's underneath. So because of that, I'm looking for a move to the downside here, possibly all the way back into the prior low at 29. So in my book, silver looks pretty bearish, unless for some reason we get a strong break to the upside this week. Of course, that would change my bias completely, and I'll be back bullish again. But unless something like that happens, I am very bearish here with silver. And as I said, looking for a push back down into this support level. So in terms of opportunities for silver, what I am looking at, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, is another lower high. A retest of this area looks pretty nice right now. Something like this, catch the next lower high, and then there's your sell. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. And there's your sell. You've got one high there, another high there, looking for a third one. This is your structure. So you got your low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then your lower low. So that is very much the plan I have there for silver. And of course, it kind of mimics gold as well. Looking at a lot more downside for both of those markets. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD side of things. Still pretty bearish on gold and silver, but Still very much in retracement mode. Overall, long term, still very bullish on both of them, but we are seeing some downside here at the moment. And then USD majors, still looking at some deeper corrections, more so looking to try and take advantage of USD weakness. But maybe in the next couple of days, you might still see a bit more strength. So if you're intraday, I think buys do look good, especially on sales look good on, especially on Euro USD. So that is where I am at. Where was I? Ahmed, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Lighton, what's up? Welcome. Hope you're well. William, looking at London trade on gold now, falling wedge. Okay, on the 15th. Okay, I will take a look at that on the 15th for gold for you. No problem. And the 50 minutes. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. It's integrated. I like the opportunity. I like the opportunity for the short-term buys there on the DXY. What's up, Dark Sean? Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're well. Interesting push from GJ last hour. Sell opportunity. Nice 160 pips. Nice. Congratulations. Nice nice trading there. We'll take a look at GJ in the 5-minute as well for you. Yes, BTC, huge jump as well. Huge jump. So we'll definitely go through Bitcoin as well. It's been an interesting past kind of 48 hours or 72 hours, I should say, for crypto. A lot of movement, big sells, big buys back up again. So we'll definitely go through that 100%. Amrit, welcome to the stream. Yes, gold, we just went through it, but I'm about to jump on the 50-minute of it as well. Kazim, was up? Yep. New Zealand yen, we'll take a look as well. Euro Aussie, Sultani, no problem. We'll take a look. First, I'll go through gold on the 15, then I'll take a look at GJ and Bitcoin. So gold 15-minute. Excuse me. So, okay. So you said something about a wedge. Falling wedge break on the 15-minute time frame. Hope this brings some upside back to 2882. So 2882 would take us back to about here-ish. And I suppose the wedge pattern you're talking about is this. And with the breakout there. Let me know if you're talking about something else. But yeah, I'm looking at some retracement here for gold anyway. And price has been very corrective. We had a big drop or a couple of big drops last week. Since the last one we had here, the market has been kind of steadily falling to the downside. So I've been looking for this to break to the upside. It's not really resembling a healthy trend, let's say. So I'm expecting us to break to the upside. And now that we've kind of had that gap there at the start of the week and price has gone and filled that, it looks like now we potentially could see that move to the upside. So I'm not really interested in taking gold to the upside, but I am interested in seeing that move to the upside purely for retracements and more downside. Like I said, that zone there on the 4-hour chart, which I marked up, is where I do like the shorts from, probably more intraday, like an hourly setup there. But it's a nice zone for some shorts. But yeah, from a 50-minute perspective, it's a nice breakout. It looks like price has come back for a retest as well and held pretty well. If we can take up the highs there, you probably will see that continuation. And at least to this level, of course, whether it gets to 2882 specifically, that's up to the market. But momentum looks pretty good there. So I would favor more upside there for gold as well. Is that a setup you're trading at the moment, Will? Let me take a look at GJ on the 5-minute as well. If I can spell what is going on. There we go. So pound yen 5-minute chart. Yeah, it's been a very choppy kind of, very choppy. Price has been all over the place for a while. It hasn't broken out the consolidation. A very strong move this. Very strong move this. Well, it was actually started selling off this morning, but it did turn around 9 a.m. and price is looking extremely bullish, coming back into resistance. So what is the play here with pound yen? What is the play? Let me look at the 4-hour chart. So it looks like we tried to get the sell. When was this? This was Friday. So price tried to sell off there as we broke the lows, but it failed and price came back to the upside. And that was a very strong wick as well on the last 4 hour candle. Very strong wick over there. And a nice kind of hammer candle close there. So it does look like price is trying to slowly break to the upside. And I actually would bet that pound yen does eventually break to the upside. However, we're still coming to resistance right now. So on the 5-minute chart, the sells still look pretty good. I just do expect us to break that resistance eventually. Of course, in terms of how we go and do that, we very much could see another big sell again and consolidate. Maybe break out in the next couple of days. I'm not necessarily expecting us to break right now, but I do eventually expect us to break to the upside because we've tried to break to the downside and that's failed. So now the next attempt is to the upside at least. So with pound yen, is that a nice place for a short? As you can see, in terms of the conditions, all prices have been doing is testing the high, testing low, and just bouncing between. So now that we're back at the high again, it's definitely your best place for a short, nice place for a stop loss. And of course, you've got pretty nice targets down there. If you're looking at the full range, you've got about 140 pips there. So depends how big of a move you're looking for, but there is some distance there. So yeah, I reckon if you can find some rejection there, bearish engulfing candles, that could be a nice entry signal to get into the trade. At least a push into the 50, I think looks very good, and then possibly a push back to the full swing as well. But I just expect the bigger move eventually to be break to the upside. So I'd watch out for that. But yeah, as long as we're still in the range, still expecting a bounce. So yeah, I can see some I can see some selling opportunities there as well. Oh, that's the 4 hour chart. I mean 5 hour chart. But yeah, it's been a very bullish past hour. Anyway, I'll go through Bitcoin next, and then we'll take a look at New Zealand yen and Euro Aussie. What's up, Atch? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Dollar yen, is it correct to sell? I'm pretty bearish on dollar yen, but I don't think it's at the best place to be selling, but I will go through it for you. Correct. Okay, nice. No problem. Do you follow the... No, I don't look at the COT as a confluence. Okay, took buys coming up 10 pips. Nice. Decided to trade on the weekend for the first time. Okay, enter the BTC buy at 852843. Nice. Then Trump tweeted them while still holding. Yeah, very, 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 very big move on the weekend there for Bitcoin and a lot of crypto markets. We'll take a look at Bitcoin now. Ivan, okay, I'll go through Euro Pound shortly. Let me just go through BTC. So yeah, Bitcoin, exceptional move, both to the downside and to the upside. Bitcoin was not messing around the past few days here. So with Bitcoin, I was expecting to see a little bit more downside back into this area, 73, 72K, which of course is the top of the range. And it's quite funny because a lot of people would have been looking at the same level because it's the only obvious level of support resistance. So I think a lot of buyers would be waiting for price to step here before getting involved. But of course, we've had that explosive move in the weekend there. So potentially could be seeing some people getting sucked into some trades up at the high. But right now, in terms of the technicals, at least for Bitcoin, I'll still be very skeptical of further upside because we're coming back into this range here. And this is where all the momentum came from last week. So buying into this can be a little bit aggressive. If we were to see another big bullish candle and it closes above this, of course, that's a big, big game changer because that pretty much invalidates the sell. This is looking like a big V-shaped pattern. And at that point, I'll be looking for correction and a lot more upside. If we were to break through that zone, of course, that hasn't happened yet. So I'm still very much bearish actually on Bitcoin and looking for more downside. As long as that zone stays intact, I do think we can still get that sell. I'm still very much looking at the continuation of the drop from last week, but this is really what you're up against. If you are long, which I think someone mentioned, yeah, LFTJ, you are long. Where's your targets? Let me know. I would imagine probably back to highs, which again is a good bet. But this is really the area you have to contend with. If you can break through that, then you should be in the money there. And I would expect price to push back to the high and probably create some new highs at that point. But if we fail to break through this zone, then we probably are just going to sell off again and push back down into support. Again, I'm still very much long-term bullish on Bitcoin. So even if we do go for a sell like this, the plan very much is to try and catch that next higher low and try and catch the next wave back to highs again. So it's either which way. Still expect the overall direction for Bitcoin to be up. However, in terms of the short term, short medium term, this is a very, very tricky area at 95K. So I would be very careful of that. Will, you said you've drawn that push to the top, showing buys are good again at 88,400 level. Okay, so you're looking for buys at 88,400. So imagine you got a fib like that, and you're looking at buys around there. What fib is that? Is that 0.382? Yeah, let me know. But yeah, I'm not trying to follow that bullish move just yet. It's a very, very strong bullish move, I must say. Very, very impulsive move, and things are looking pretty bullish from that perspective. But that area there is a very, very strong consolidation, which gave us a very strong drop. So in terms of the technicals, I do want us to see a break through that. Of course, in terms of entering the market, you'll be entering a little bit later. For example, if price was to break through, then you're looking for a pullback. Of course, you're higher up, closer to the high. So risk reward might not be as good. Your over entry is higher. So there are some drawbacks of waiting for more confirmation 100%. But this is still an area which could very much give us another sell. So I would be very careful of that 94, 95K area. But should we break through, I think pullbacks after that will look very, very good. And the probability for us pushing back to highs would be pretty high. So that's kind of my take down Bitcoin. Still do have some zones above us which don't look quite good there. Anyway, we'll go through New Zealand yen next. Then we'll take a look at Euro Aussie and also Euro Pound as well. What's up, Lauda? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. What's up, Alex? Hope you're doing good, man. Good morning. Good morning. That's the attitude. Looking forward to profitable trading week. Yep, it's a new month as well. Already in March. Okay, let me go through dollar yen. Then I'll take a look at New Zealand yen and Euro pound as well. So dollar yen, I'm actually looking to short this one still. However, it's not quite the time to do that yet. I say that because number one, we're still trading massive support. So you don't want to be selling directly into this, especially when price is clearly showing signs of bouncing on support. For all we know, we could see a very big move from this area. Last time price was bouncing from this level, we saw a move all the way back to 158. So it doesn't really make too much sense to be shorting directly into that. Maybe if you're on the lower time frame, you try and take a small piece of the pie, fair enough. But if you're looking for a swing, at least the trade that you're going to hold for maybe a day or two, doesn't make too much sense to be looking to sell at these prices. I want price to push away from all of that and then perhaps talk about some sales later on. Or the safer opportunity would be price to break through support. Then we can discuss some shorts afterwards. I do like this trend line, which price has in play at the moment. A pullback, something like this to around 152, 151 would interest me because at least now we're further away from support. So I can at least sell it towards that level. Or, of course, like I said, the break of support and the retest of that. I do expect to see a lot more downside longer term. For dollar yen, I'm looking at push back into support here at 140.738. So in my book, there's a pretty big drop to be had here for dollar yen. But one thing is for certain, I do not want to be selling directly into that support level. I want price to pull away from that level or break through and then look for pullbacks afterwards. So dollar yen, I wouldn't be looking to short yet. I am bearish 100%, but I need that bigger pullback or the break and retest of structure before I do start to sell. But I am expecting a lot more downside. New Zealand yen, I like this one as well. Really nice move to the downside last week. I'm still looking to sell this one. We are very, very close to taking out the wick lows here, which I'm expecting price to go and do that. But again, in terms of opportunity, I do need to see price give me that bigger pullback. I'm looking at this opportunity here, connecting the highs, perhaps a retest of some support there, term resistance as well. That's really the opportunity I'm looking at for New Zealand yen. Whether we get that bigger pullback, again, ask the question, because there's a lot of momentum right now. So there is a strong possibility that we might just correct and keep falling. So I would say potentially if you're on the lower time frames, it could be a nice short as we approach the high here. Let's say if we can get a strong rejection at that high, that could be a really nice place for a short. Kind of got the first, second, third stab there, and then you get your sell. If price, of course, rockets through this, then maybe we are going to get that bigger pullback, like I just mentioned in the 4-hour chart. But because there's a lot of momentum right now with New Zealand yen, NZD, the currency itself is pretty weak as well. The chance of us getting that bigger pullback might be a little bit on the slim side of things. So if you're eager to trade New Zealand yen, you probably want to be dropping to the 15 and trying to follow this bearish structure here. And altogether, that would be a nice place for a short. Number one, you're back at the high. You can get a really nice stop loss. And of course, you maximize your risk reward there as well. And a push back to the low there makes a lot of sense. So I would keep an eye on something like that around 84.7, looking for some wicks, bearish engulfing candles. That looks like a nice short idea on the 15. Like I said in the 4-hour chart, there is an opportunity there as well. Looking to continue this bearish swing here, but we just need that bigger pullback. Again, it's not too far away. It's a reasonable pullback I'm expecting, but it just depends how bearish New Zealand yen wants to be. But that is the plan. That is the idea I have for this currency pair. In terms of where was I? We'll go through Euro Pound next for Ivan. Have I missed out a bit? No, we'll go for Euro Aussie for Sultani before I forget that one. We'll go for Euro Aussie, then I'll take a look at Euro Pound. So Euro Aussie, I believe this one was pretty bullish last time I had a check. Yeah, pretty bullish. We're back at resistance here. So we could be going for a pretty big breakout right now with Euro Aussie, because we were holding this resistance for a few weeks and looks like price is trying to break through. If we're successful, then I'm looking for a push back into this level here, just above us at 1.7, because altogether, Euro Aussie is just a big ranging market. You've got lovely support down there. You've got resistance there. You've got resistance there. We haven't really gone anywhere for the past 2.5 years-ish, maybe even longer than that. So price has been extremely flat. And the benefit of trading a very flat market is that when we do break through one level, we tend to go to the next one. And especially if you can get a strong break as well. And if we can get a strong break of this level, then the next obvious target will be back to the high there at 1.7. So breakouts and retests will make a load of sense. And we could be looking at an opportunity, something like this, correction, and on your way to the next level. That would be the opportunity I'll be looking at there for Euro Aussie, because looking at pound Aussie, pound NZD, Euro NZD, all those kind of similar currency pairs, they're all looking very, very bullish right now. And if they're going to continue, then we'll wait for the break of resistance and look for opportunities on the retest of that. So that's really what I'm looking at for Euro Aussie. The breakout's not here quite yet. Daily candle's still very much alive and could still close bearish by the end of the day for all we know. So still very much waiting for a strong close above the high to really confirm the breakout is valid and worthwhile looking to trade. And if it is, potentially in the next couple of days, looking for a swing back to 1.7. So that would be the plan for Euro Aussie. In terms of Euro Pound, Ivan, you're looking to sell it into 0.823. I'm pretty bearish on Euro Pound as well. I am looking for a push all the way back to the prior low here, which is at 0.822. You're looking at 0.823, which is just a few pips above where I am. So yeah, we pretty much have the same outlook, looking at a lot more downside. I did say on the weekly analysis this week that if you're looking to short Euro Pound, kind of just looking for price to get back into resistance, we kind of gapped into it, funny enough, this morning. So I think this looks like a really nice place for a short. Swing it back into the prior low if you want to keep things relatively simple. But I would suggest that there's a pretty good chance that we get back into the swing low there on the left as well. If we zoom out, look at the bigger picture. I should go to the daily charts. You can see that the overall trend has been very consistent and the market is still printing, excuse me, lower high after lower high after lower high. It looks like we've just done that again. So if that is a lower high, then the odds of us coming back into the low are pretty high, and the odds of us seeing a new low is pretty high too. So that's where the bearish bias comes from myself for euro pound. Even in the 4-hour chart, we've been flowing to the downside pretty well. So the plan would be break and retest, solid support from last week, broken through. Let's see if we can hold that resistance this week. That would be great. And then, yeah, looking to fill the gap to the downside back into 0.822 makes the most sense there. So that's very much the thought process I have with euro pound. Hopefully that makes sense. Where was I? Still expecting it to 191 to take some liquidity left there, and then a big drop. Okay, have a quick look at that. Oh wow, pound yen really just pushed there. Last time I had a look, we were still at the high. Things just changed so quickly on the 5-minute chart. Oh, you're looking for 191, which is 191. Yeah, 191, which is more or less around here. So you're looking for it to go there before you're looking to take some shorts. I think that's probably a safer bet, to be honest, because it looks like price has completely broken through that resistance there, and it done it pretty aggressively as well. So yeah, I wonder what the bigger play is now for pound yen, because I'm still bearish, but price has had a very, very poor attempt at creating new lows here, and we've fallen a bit of a range. Looks like momentum shifting bullish. So with pound yen and again the yen pairs in general, I'm still very bearish across the board, but this is definitely a sign of, at least on the 4-hour chart, of us shifting in momentum and possibly pushing to the upside. How long this move sustains will be interesting kind of an interesting move, because like I said, I'm looking to sell. I don't really have an opportunity to sell pound yen on the 4-hour chart. At least I'm kind of very much just watching price, waiting for my time to strike. I don't really have a setup I'm quite looking at just yet. I mean, if price breaks support here, then yeah, 100% I'm looking for some pullbacks and retests. But of course, we're nowhere near doing that. So at the moment, there is no really opportunity for me on the 4-hour chart there, at least to short the market, which is what my longer term bias is. So staying patient with that one. But yeah, a lot of upside there. I wonder if that's pound. We're about to go through some of the yen pairs. I'll just go for, okay, I'll go through gold, US 30, NAS for Alex. What's up, what's up, Will? Welcome to the stream. Good morning, good morning. Hope you've been well, my man. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Yes, Abdul will take a look at Euro Yen for you as well. No problem, Kazim. Happy to help. Yeah, GJ just seems breaking to the upside. Dollar CHF. Okay, I'm about to go through. I'll go through some of the indices and gold, then I'll go through some of the yen pairs. So gold, as I mentioned previously, looking for some downside for this one. But I want to see a bit more retracement. So last week we had a pretty decent move to the downside, taking out some of these lows on the left. And it does look like gold is slowly turning bearish. Again, the overall trend is very much up, and I'm still very much a buyer of gold. But for now, maybe the next few days, potentially a week or two, we might be seeing some downside for gold. So the plan very much for this week is a pullback into the 2900 area, 2890 in that area there, looking for some shorts, next lower high, and a push back into the low. That is very much the plan I have there for gold. So keeping a close eye on that retracement, close eye on that zone there. That's where we kind of stalled for a few days before dropping. I want price to come back, revisit that area, and then look for some more shorts. And of course, targets back at the prior low. I have marked out the swing high here as well as a reasonable expectation of where we could pull back into. But I think, especially because gold is so bullish, you want to keep things short and sweet with the sells. even if things look like we are turning bearish, just because gold being gold, we can turn bullish, in a blink of an eye really quickly. So not trying to overstay our welcome. If you can get a short back into the low there, I think that will be a nice trade. You can always leave some smaller positions to run potentially back into the high there as well. But yeah, gold expecting a bit more downside. US 30. This one tried to break lower last week, but essentially just failed to break through some support there. Things are getting a little bit interesting now because prices had a pretty good respect of this prior high here, turned support and has rejected it pretty well. Last week I was talking a lot about some sells from this area. Didn't really quite see that happen. Price had a couple attempts trying to get that retest, but essentially failed. I'm no longer a big fan of shorting from that zone right now, just because prices had a few attempts trying to sell off and it's failed. This zone is a nice zone because we had a strong drop, a pause, another strong drop, and we haven't come back to revisit it. But now that prices tried to sell off, it's no longer an area that does excite me anymore in terms of the opportunity for a short, especially with us rejecting the low so well. Now, overall, I'm still pretty bullish here for US 30. If I'm going to look to sell this one, I probably wouldn't be looking for such a big sell anymore. Again, it's just a bit aggressive, the shorts. It's just a bit aggressive because I'm looking at this as possibly in the next higher low for a push back to the high. I still like the shorts though because it was a strong move, but I'm kind of looking for something like this to happen. Maybe a slight retracement, a higher low forms, and then we push on. Again, I don't want to try and be too intricate in terms of predicting the exact moves of price because there's no real point in doing that. But again, given the fact that the market is still bullish overall on the daily chart and above, I do like the shorts here, but I just wouldn't want to stay in the shorts for too long. It might give you a nice reaction, but if we start forming some support and things look like they're changing, like I said, we very much could go and break through. So it's still a nice zone for a short. I like it because we spent a long time consolidating here, then dropped pretty aggressively. So overall, it's still a nice place to short from. But the way prices rejected the low here, it does look like we may be forming a higher low to start the bullish journey again. So just don't want to overstay our welcome there with the shorts. In terms of NAS, NAS 100. NAS came back into really nice support, and we've had a really nice bounce from that level as well. So again, with NAS, overall, the market is pretty much consolidating. You got your equal lows down there. You got your equal highs up there, roughly. This was a really nice place for a buy. Not because we've had a reaction, just because of where everything's positioned. Number one, the market's over bullish on the higher time frames. Number two, the market's been ranging. So if you want to get a nice buy opportunity, you want to be right at the bottom where you can find a nice stop loss and enter just as low as possible because it maximizes your risk to reward and just gives you a better entry in general. And that's kind of what we got last week, Friday there. And now price is making a move to the upside. So possibly, if we are going to continue the trend, there's a lot of room for us to maneuver into back to 22,200, back at the all-time high. So overall, pretty bullish there for NAS as well. If you're looking for trade opportunities, I would still be looking for some buys down low. I did mention this could be a nice place for a short on the lower time frames last week. I would avoid taking the shorts there now. Not that we can't react, but because of where we've reacted from coming back into the low there, I wouldn't be looking at the shorts there anymore. So NAS 100 coming back into a really strong low. I think this is a great place for a buy. And if we can hold it, we can probably push back to the all-time highs there as well. So really like the positioning there for NAS. I think this is a nice place to take price back to the high. Okay, so I'll go through the rest of the yen pairs. So I will go through the rest of them. We'll start with euro yen. I'll take a look at dollar CHF afterwards as well. I'll go through dollar yen as well, Lighton. What's up, follow the trend? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. So euro yen with this one as well, we're reacting to some really powerful support. If I go to the daily chart, you can see where we are coming from. Really massive support once over there, second time over there, a third time there, and so far a fourth. So I don't really want to be looking to sell into this, even though I'm expecting price to break through. I'm looking at this as potentially being a bit of a top to the long-term bullish trend here for euro yen. I'm expecting price to break the support. But again, if I'm looking to trade this, there's either there's either two ways I'm looking to trade this. Either price pulls away from the zone, we form another lower high, and then we get another short back towards that area. Something that looks like this. We form a lovely high over there once, second one over there. Potentially could try and catch the third one, and then we get another short back into the zone. Or price breaks through the zone, and then I look for opportunities on the underside of that, because now I've got that to my back and I can base a trade from that. So those are the only two ways I'm looking to try and get into a trade there for euro yen, especially if I drop to the 4-hour chart. You can see that we're having a lot of rejection at the low right now here as well. So prices been consolidating. It looked like price was about to sell, but we didn't. And now this morning, it looks like we're seeing a very strong candle closure. Well, we're seeing a very strong candle. It's still got 3 hours left before it does close. So a lot can happen in that time, but it does look pretty strong at this moment in time here. So it does look like we're having a hard time breaking through support. So as my expectation would now be, I'm expecting a push higher, which is something that I can benefit from, because if we do see that push higher, like I said, perhaps catch that next big lower high and perhaps catch a nice sell. In the meantime, there could be some nice buys here. I would suggest if we do break through some resistance here on the lower time frames, perhaps you can probably scale down to maybe even the 15 or the 30-minute time frame. If you do see a nice strong break of that, that could be a really nice place for a long, trying to catch the next higher low once, twice, a third time, fourth, and so on and so forth there, because this was a strong level which we respected once, twice, third time, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven times we respected that resistance. So price has paid a lot of attention to that. So this break is pretty significant on the lower time frames. So if you can keep that up, get some pullbacks, I think that'll be a nice place for some shorter term buys there for euro yen. Don't get me wrong, I'm still very bearish, but we might be seeing a move to the upside for a few days before we do get a big sell. So we're going to have to stay patient from that, and rightly so. We're coming from a really strong support, which we're still hanging on to. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for euro yen. Dollar yen, similar situation as well. A lot of the yen pairs are testing some big levels of support, and rightly so. They're seeing some upside. They're respecting those levels. So you would expect to see that. And as you can see, dollar yen respecting really key support there as well. So it does look like we're going to see some upside. With dollar yen, we've got a lovely bearish trend at play as well, with lower lows and lower highs. Again, the plan is to see if we can catch the next one. So again, looking for a pullback roughly into the 152 area. See what type of rejection we can get there. If things look good, jump into a trade, take it back into support. If not, then we can wait for the break of the support. And again, similar to euro yen, waiting for the break of the big level in the daily chart. Then we can look to use that to our advantage for a retest. At least that level will be to our backs when we're selling. And again, for dollar yen, I'm expecting a lot more downside for this one as well, with targets back down at this support level here at 141. So extremely bearish for dollar yen, extremely bearish for euro yen, bearish pretty much across the board for the yen pairs. And again, when I say bearish, I mean a long-term outlook, not bearish as in the next 24 hours. The long-term outlook is bearish. However, a lot of them are testing support. Looks like a lot of them are showing signs of reversal as well at that support level. So I do kind of expect to see maybe some upside for the yen pairs, maybe for a few days potentially. So on the lower time frames, if you're looking to trade them, I would focus on buys really, and try and look for some pullbacks. Euro yen looks pretty good on the break and retest there. If we can get a strong break of that high, I do expect to see a lot more upside there as well. If we go take a look at pound yen, this time on the 4-hour chart as well. So like I said, for this one as well, respecting support pretty well, aggressively reacting to the upside. Again, for this one, long term, I do still see a move back into the prior swing low here at 180. So again, that's still the direction I want to trade in. However, again, not really breaking to the downside, not seeing the momentum I want to see. And if you do respect support, how far do we see a move to the upside? Not too sure. We do have these major swing highs here. 1, 2, perhaps we form a third one before we get the sell. Again, that's just me thinking out loud here. That opportunity hasn't arisen yet, so still a long way to wait. But again, what I'm trying to hint at is that there is no good sell here, at least on the 4-hour chart. If you're looking for a big swing, there isn't that there at the moment. Respecting support, we even pull back very correctly as well. Yeah, it does look like we'll probably see something like that over the next few days there for pound yen 2. In terms of CHF JPY, so this one as well, respecting some big support. So again, another yen pair testing big support. That looks like to be a consistent theme across the board here of the yen pair. So as you can see, massive support level here at 167.3. Again, this is a level which I'm expecting to break in a really big move to the downside. What do we have? A pretty big head and shoulder pattern, left head and right shoulder. There's, of course, your lovely neckline. Expecting price to break through that and expecting a lot more downside there as well. But yeah, I can't be looking to take advantage of that just yet until, again, we either pull away from this, form another major lower high, and I can short it back down again, or price breaks support, and then we can look to short on the retest of that. There's either one of those options would look like a good opportunity, but just definitely no shorts right now. Like I said, if anything, longs do actually look pretty good. Likewise here with Swiss yen, we've got a lovely consolidation on the 4-hour chart. Should price break out of that there, then you could be looking at a nice move here and a nice breakout, nice pullbacks into that zone, and then a continuation higher as well. That looks like a nice opportunity there for Swiss yen should we get that break to the upside. And again, it makes sense because of where we're coming from, back from a strong low as well. You could see a nice push there to the upside. There is a long kind of standing trend line here. If that breaks, that adds to the confidence of the trade as well. So, yeah, it does look like the yen pairs could be seeing some upside. Of course, Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys have been particularly bearish because AUD and NZD have been really weak. So these guys have been sliding to the downside. These guys, I do expect again to get back that low. I think in terms of the setup, Aussie New Zealand yen actually look pretty good, to be fair, because they were so bearish last week. So again, for Aussie yen, I'm looking at something like this. Nice little pullback, retest with the trend line, and the lower high. You got some lovely support running through the market there as well. Perhaps might get a retest of that. And there it looks like a nice entry to take the trade. And of course, push back to the prior low. But I do expect us to go a lot further back into 90.119. So that is a really nice opportunity, which again, I'm going to be focusing on a lot of, especially with the other yen pairs not looking quite set yet. And then New Zealand yen, likewise, same thing as well. You've got the swing low just below us over there, expecting price to make new lows pretty soon. We've got lovely lower highs there in the market, retest of support back into the trend line as well. You got nice confidence there, and again, targets back at the prior low there too. So New Zealand yen and Aussie yen, because of their weakness, look a lot better in terms of we actually got some clarity in that bearish structure, and they've broken through some key support. Whereas pound, euro, dollar, we haven't looked at CAD yen yet, but this one as well, I'm pretty sure is testing some big support. All these other yen pairs are testing big support levels and not really showing signs of breaking through. So if I go to the daily chart, again, if I drag this across, you can see where CAD yen is trading as well. Really big support, and again, not really managing to break through as well. So it's a bit of an awkward place, but I don't mind that because again, if we do bounce from here, can get a lovely pullback there for CAD yen, perhaps another lower high like we did previously, and that could be our short back into the lows, and again, so on and so forth. So again, looking at bigger pullbacks here for the yen pairs. Hopefully, we can see something like that over the next few days. There's no short for me to take here. Again, if we drop to the hourly chart, could actually be a nice buy. Again, keeping it short term. Something like this. Nice break to the upside. And then trying to find the next high low there. That could be a nice setup there. Intraday, perhaps 30, 50 minute. Might want to catch. Might want to focus your attention on the lower time frames there for those entries. But yeah, with the yen pairs, I mean, I'll take a look at the yen basket. The yen pairs, the direction for me long term is still the same. Nothing's changed in regards to that. No big break of structure. What's up, Knox? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. No big break of structure. No big sign of trend changing. So that's why I still retain that bearish bias for the yen pairs. However, again, in terms of the setup, that's where I take my trades and take my entries and put my stop loss. I don't really see one just yet. Again, for The yen basket looking for a big push into 7,200 up there. Again, for this one, there is a nice trend line at play here, which I'm looking to see if we can go get another test of. That'll be very, very nice if the yen basket can give us the opportunity, because then we'll see some nice pullbacks for a lot of the other yen pairs, and then expecting the next swing. I was talking about the possible breaking retest at this level. The breakout was never big enough. It was always kind of very corrective. Didn't really see much momentum. So I was never really interested with the breaking retest of that level. So if you can get a bigger pullback closer towards that trend line, perhaps another higher low there, and that could be the swing that does take us back into 7,200. So still pretty bullish here on the yen basket. And of course, if this does push to the upside, the yen pairs will fall, and then you'll see a lot more downside. You'll see a lot more downside across the board for the yen pairs in general. And yeah, that's really where I'm at with the yen pairs. Does look like we'll probably see some upside though, so keep an eye on that. And there could be some nice opportunities on the lower time frames if you are looking for it. I will take a look at dollar CHF for LFTJ. Coffee, the pound's relatively stronger today. Pound NSD to the moon. Yes, that has been very, very bullish over the past few days. Had a very strong breakout, I believe, on Thursday, and price hasn't looked back since. It's been absolutely flying. I think NSD is pretty weak as well. So that currency pair has been soaring. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let me just go have a look at dollar CHF. So USD CHF with this one, I am still looking at sells here for dollar CHF. I'm pretty bearish on the DXY itself. Again, for the dollar, this is the opportunity I'm looking at, which is a sell from this area. The plan is to try and find the next lower high in this sequence. So you got one over there, second over there, there's your drop, and there's your third, well, potentially a third. If I whip out the trend line from the high to the low, you've got 0.5, you've got 0.618 in those areas there. So the plan is to try and find another lower high in that area to short it back into the lows. So I'm pretty much looking at the exact same opportunity there on dollar CHF, because if the DXY does something like that, then you most likely will see dollar CHF do something like that as well, with USD being the predominant currency pair as well. So I like the trend we have here, the market structure as well. We've got some nice resistance just above us. We can see what type of rejection we get at that level. And if things look good, we can short it back into the prior low here and potentially further. Again, dollar CHF coming from a massive level on the weekly chart as well, which does make me pretty bearish on the market. As you can see, 0.915 there, massive resistance, big push down. There again, big push down. And possibly a third time might see a big push down. Of course, back into support, because essentially you've got a ranging market there for dollar CHF. If we are going to respect the range, then we are likely to push back to the low of it. So dollar CHF still pretty bearish, looking for a little bit more upside before I do start to look for any entries. We've had some rejection this morning, but it's just not in any area of confluence. I wouldn't be jumping into a trade there just yet. But if we were to push a little bit higher into 0.906, I do expect to see opportunities in that area. Of course, if price just gives me a big candle breaking through, then I'll step back. Probably at that point, we're going to see a push back into the high of the high of the range there, which I'm not really looking to do anything with. But for now, that is the opportunity I am looking at. And in terms of pound NSD, yes, pound has been very, very strong. New Zealand has been pretty weak as well. And of course, that is giving us a very, very bullish pound NSD here, breaking through the highs and not really looking back since. I did talk about on my weekly analysis about a retest of this area here of 2.22 as a nice place to buy from. I still think is a really nice place to buy from, because we had a really strong break and price never came back for the retest. So that still would be a really nice place for a long. But again, with that momentum, will we come back and see the retest? Who knows? But if it does happen, then you've probably got a good chance of seeing a nice buy. Of course, depending on how we retrace and depending on how we react, but most likely you'll probably see some nice bounces from that area if we can get the pullback. But yeah, pound NZ is being super, super bullish. Looks like the overall trend there on the daily chart is just continuing. and is not really looking back since then as well. So again, in terms of where we could get to, we've broken through some major points. I do expect to see a longer term push to the downside, but I'm not really seeing that just yet. There's a major high over there at 2.46, but we're very, very far away from that. So not really taking that into consideration just yet. But yeah, with that strength, I'll be looking at some bigger pullbacks and trying to see if I can ride that momentum as well. Of course, if you look at pound Aussie, that's been pretty bullish too. Big move to the upside. If you look at Euro Aussie, which is a similar currency pair, that's been pretty bullish as well. Of course, you got your Euro NZD2, which again has been pretty bullish. That one's breaking to the upside actually. Looks like it's about to push back into the high there. Was not expecting that, but yeah, we're seeing some follow through there as well. So yeah, bullish across the board through the crosses there. In terms of my watch list, it's very much still the same pairs roughly from last week, which is still very much focused on the USD, shorting the dollar, so shorting the dollar, so shorting like dollar CHF, shorting dollar CAD, but of course longs on euro, longs on pound. Although euro is not really my favorite right now, pound USD looks a lot better. And yeah, and I was looking at Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, but not so much those currency pairs anymore. Yen pairs, like I said, still very much looking to short them. However, kind of backing away a little bit, giving some room for them to make their maneuvers. But Aussie yen and New Zealand yen look pretty straightforward in terms of the price action for them. So keeping a close eye and hopefully can find some shorts maybe later this week. But those two currency pairs are definitely on the watch list. Of course, I'm still holding my Aussie CHF from about 2.5 weeks ago now. It's been a while since I've been in the position, but we did see a lot of follow through last week, which was good. At least we're seeing momentum, which is really a strong sign. Because if we continue to sell to the downside very correctively, that wouldn't be particularly good. We might still eventually go and hit our target, but number one, I'll be paying a lot more on swaps. Number two, because it's so corrective, we probably will see a bounce rather than a breakthrough. Because the plan for the trade very much still is to take most of my profit at the low, but I still want to hold some of the positions for a much bigger drop back into 0.536, which is the wick low there. If we had a very corrective move down, I probably would just close the trade completely at the low, because the fact that we are corrective doesn't really show signs of continuation of the trend. And again, with the negative swaps as well, it being corrective, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, Aussie CHF, really nice move to the downside. Not too far away from my targets. Just missed it, to be honest. But there's no risk on the table. I'll look to see if we can get to that level, and I will close most of the trade, and then hopefully leave some to run back to the low. I have been looking at some of the other CHF pairs, but just haven't seen any other opportunity. Reading pretty much bearish across the board for the CHF currency pairs. I was hoping New Zealand CHF might had a bigger correction, but that of course was pretty weak last week. You can see there, really strong move. Of course, CHF strength helped out with that, but I don't really have an opportunity to short New Zealand CHF there. Pound CHF as well. I'm not really interested in shorting that one at the moment. Looks like pound CHF trying to break to the upside. Kind of waiting to see if we can break support first, and then I will consider some shorts back into the low. Otherwise, maybe even break to the upside, which is something I'm not really interested in. CAD CHF for this one as well, just a lot of consolidation. Not really too interested in this one. Needs to break to the downside as well, and then I'll look to do something there. But otherwise, a lot of other CHF pairs have been very corrective. Dark trend GJ close to your entry target. Okay, waiting for a stab through 91 and looking for some signs of rejection. Okay, yeah, pound yen has been absolutely flying there. Do you know where you'd be targeting Dark Sean in terms of the targets for the trade, or would you work that out when you get your entry? Lighten, how to redraw my charts. Good stuff. No problem. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I do look to redraw my charts a lot as well. Pretty much every week I do that as well to keep it fresh, because you don't want to have, because again, with technical analysis, you might miss things, and things can change very quickly as well. So you kind of want to look at the look at your charts with a fresh set of eyes as much as possible, really, because you might miss something that, again, you didn't spot last time, or like something new information can come around, which makes your previous analysis invalid or just not quite up to date as well. So, you know, refreshing your charts, I do every week because, of course, I'm predominantly working on the 4 hour chart. So, again, within a week or within a day on the 4 hour chart, you will get 6 new 4 hour candles, and within a week, because there's 5 trading days in a week, um, you will get 36 4 hour candles in a week. So there's not a lot of new information on the 4 hour chart. Therefore, you can do it every weekend. If you're a bit more intraday, like hourly or 15 or 5, and you probably want to refresh your charts every day just to keep it fresh and make sure you're up to date and you're spotting things you might have missed previously. So it's actually a good thing you do that. Aussie Chef was murdered. Yeah, it was a nice move. It was a nice move, but again, very, very close to actually taking me out of the position as well. It wasn't completely smooth. I probably entered the trade a little bit too early in hindsight. Preferably would have wanted to get entry closer to the high there. And of course, that would maximize the risk reward a lot for me. But again, you can't be perfect. You're not going to know that information in hindsight. As long as you're taking your trades in your right areas, that's the important thing, with the right confirmations. But yeah, it was a really nice move. Hopefully you can go and hit the target, and hopefully you can go and hit the extended target as well. But yeah, that'll take a while. So for now, that is what we're looking to do. But yeah, I haven't really got any other positions open apart from this. I could probably keep a close eye on the volume and ride it as long as possible. Okay, makes sense. Let me have a look at GJ. So we were looking pretty bullish there. Yeah, that's been an electric move to the upside. Didn't see any indication really on the 5 minute of us holding that level. And prices exploded to the upside. So 191, which is just above where we are right now. 191, just about there-ish, just above where we are. And looking, yeah, that's a crazy bullish move there as well. But I would say, because of how the market is moving, I wouldn't mind shorting that, because if the market was trending to the upside like this, like an aggressive trend, then yeah, I wouldn't be looking to try and short the tops of that. But because the market's been so corrective like this, every big up move in the past kind of week or so has ended in a pretty strong down move, and likewise as well. Every strong down move has ended up in a pretty strong up move. So the odds of us seeing a high there and a pretty big drop is actually pretty high. I know it looks like price is breaking out, but still we do have that kind of corrected nature which is present. If, of course, the market has a mini correction here and we break to the upside some more, then yeah, we don't know how explosive that could be, and that could ride for the next, or potentially the end of the week. So I'll be careful at that point. But we're still relatively corrective, so there's a good chance we do push back down, even at least for a push back to the high there at 190.2. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be looking at the shorts there personally, but I would expect at least a correction there. But to be honest, looking at the 4 hour chart, I'll be looking to see if price can come back to the high there eventually. Of course, we could see some downside beforehand, but I'll be looking at a push back to the high there on the 4 hour chart for pound gem, 192.5. This was a very, very strong rejection. We tried to get our sell there Friday last week. Didn't add up, and our price is looking pretty bullish. Me, quick question, very off topic, sorry, but why move to the UK? You're asking why I moved to the UK? I was born and raised in the UK. I haven't moved to the UK. I've always been in the UK. Or are you asking me why you should move to the UK? That I can't answer because I don't know your situation. But yeah, I've always lived in the UK. Uh, Raphael, good place to say Aussie CAD. Okay, we'll take a look. Ferrogams, Euro Yen, so bullish in London session. Yeah, very, very bullish. A lot of the yen pairs doing the same thing. No problem, follow the trend. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, again, there's multiple things to look at when you're moving a country. But yeah, I've been here my whole life, so I have not moved to the UK. Always been here. Let me go and look at Aussie CAD. Okay, so Aussie CAD. Are you looking to sell Aussie CAD now? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. Aussie CAD did have a really nice rejection at the high there last week, and yeah, it's been a really nice move since then. However, looking to jump into shorts now, I don't think is a good time. Uh, Number one, we've already had a pretty strong move, so shorting now means your stop loss is in a nice place. And if the market does correct, that's probably going to hit your stop loss, even if the market's still going to fall. So, in terms of a suitable or a safe stop loss, you're more so looking above the highs here, which again, the boat is kind of already sold there. So, unless price comes back up, you're probably not getting an opportunity to do that. And number two, we're coming back into support. We're not too far away from support as well, too. So, unless you're looking for a very small move on like the 15-minute chart, again, let me know the time frames you're looking to work on so I can be a bit more specific to what you're looking at. Because if you're looking at like the 15-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, then yeah, you might catch a nice short-term sell. Like if I drop to the 5 here, then if I can get a push back to the high there, that would be a nice place for a sell actually on the 5-minute, because we're not looking for anything crazy. Even if I can get pushed back to the swing low here, that's a nice trade within itself. I can get a comfortable stop loss above some key structure, look for some big rejection, and possibly short it into the low here and maybe back into support there as well. So if you're on the 5-minute chart, then yes, you've probably got a nice opportunity for a sell. Again, not specifically now. I would wait for us to push higher first, even on the 5-minute as well. Or again, you can look at this on the 15 too. I would wait for us to push higher first, so I can get a stop loss above the high there before shorting. But again, if you're looking at slightly higher time frames, it's just not a great place for a short. We're approaching support, already seen a strong move, so the market's a little bit stretched as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm still pretty bearish on Aussie CAD. I'm looking for us to eventually get back to the low here. So I'm still pretty bearish and I see a lot more downside. But timing the entries is very, very important. Just because you have that bearish expectation doesn't mean just short, because the chances are your stop loss can be very much be hit before you do see that move. So you want to make sure you're entering in appropriate places with appropriate stop losses so you can trade that bias well. But yeah, depends what time frame you're looking at really, and how long you're looking to short for as well. Euro yen we'll take a look at next as well. LFTJ is that yes. Again, any income you're paying tax on. Ben, good morning. Hope you're well. What we think of UK 100 and the DAX going higher? I actually haven't looked at them yet. I will go have a look. See. Do you reckon it's a lower high? Yeah, Bitcoin is very aggressive as well. Very aggressive bullish move yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So I will touch on that in a second. Let's take a look at UK 100 and the DAX. So UK 100, oh, look at this one flying to the upside as well. I was looking for another correction for this one. We did see a slight move, but did not create any new lows. And price is now taking up the highs there as well. So I've been looking for us to form a bit of a consolidation here for UK 100 because all the time we get breakouts, we do tend to form these consolidations. However, we haven't really formed one yet. So eventually, we probably will, but it looks like we're still very much in bullish mode right now. So with UK 100, because it's so bullish, I can only expect more upside. I mean, since we are taking out some highs down the left, I do expect to see a correction pretty soonish. But as to where, I can't necessarily look to the left and spot anything because we don't have anything to reference. So with UK 100, it's a little bit difficult to say where we can get to, where we can retrace from, or how high, how far we can get. I mean, there is a big psychological level here at 9K. Maybe price is working its way towards that potentially. But because the market is breaking highs and still seeing higher lows, I can only expect more upside there. That's my kind of default setting when I just see a bullish market, especially one at all-time highs, that yes, we can definitely see more upside. But yeah, I don't really have any specifics to work from because, again, all-time highs, not a lot of data there to work with. I do expect that bigger consolidation to form soon, but yeah, it's still very bullish, at least for now anyway. In terms of the DAX, I haven't actually looked at this one as well since last week either. Ooh, okay, so this one's pushing up. I did talk about some buys on the retest of this area. Looks like we just kind of broke through slightly before pushing up. But yeah, the DAX, I do expect us to push back into the high. The DAX is super, super bullish. Looking at this on the daily chart puts things into perspective very well. We've absolutely exploded to the upside in the past few weeks here, and I haven't really looked back since. In fact, this has been the biggest correction for a while since this move here back in late December. So the market's been very, very bullish, and it looks like we are going to push back to highs there at 22,900. And I would expect new highs as well. Again, how far we push, that's just a question I have no idea to. The next big psychological level, 23K, we just missed it. Looks like we're probably going to push into 23K. But beyond that, 23,500, I'll keep an eye out for as well. But yeah, still looking very, very bullish and expecting more upside there for the DAX as well. In terms of BTC, is this a lower high or is price going to push through? I'm still looking at this as potentially a lower high for Bitcoin. Reason being, we had a really big drop last week. Yes, we've had a really exceptional bullish move the past couple of days here, especially yesterday. But this is still where all the selling pressure came from. So for me to be bullish again on Bitcoin, I need to see price give me another bullish candle breaking through this zone, essentially taking up the high here on the left. If we go and do that, then that sets the tone for me. And then I'll be expecting corrections and more upside back to the all-time highs and probably a lot further as well, because this would have been a really big fake out, which would have taken out a lot of orders below that low and flushed out a lot of people, a few panic sellers and a few people just jumping into sells, looking to try and take things down. And of course, previous buyers getting their position stopped out as well. So that would have done a lot of sweeping that move there. If we were to take up the highs, sure, correction, more upside, that will be the plan. However, if we start to stall here, consolidate, momentum dries up, then I think there's a pretty good chance we just sell right back off again and go and hit that big level at 74K. So I'm still under the impression that it's a low high right now because we haven't broken through. And if we maintain a resistance, keep rejecting, maybe 2-3 days pass, I do think Bitcoin's got a good chance to sell to the downside. However, of course, if we see another big candle, which can happen out of nowhere for Bitcoin, it's still a very volatile market. And we break through, then yes, I would be bullish. And yes, I'm expecting a push back to the higher there. Again, it's a little bit more on the safe side of things. It also means that you'd be entering a little bit higher up. So entry wouldn't be as good. Maybe risk to reward won't be as good either. But at least you got a high probability move on your hands there. But for now, still respecting that consolidation. So yeah, I'll still be looking at sells. That was a very, very big move there on Sunday. And of course, a lot of cryptocurrencies had the same move. Ethereum had a decent move. It wasn't anything spectacular, really, for Ethereum. It was that bullish candle there. And in the context of the market, so it's like a regular candle. So not really much there for Ethereum to get excited on. I think that the key thing with Ethereum is that we're still holding support. So as long as that can stay true, then it's not that bad for Ethereum. If we do start breaking through this, then it does get a bit ugly. I think we've also got a nice trend line here as well, which is keeping Ethereum bullish. So if we break through the trend line there and break through support, It's not looking good at all. Other crypto markets, XRP, that had a really big move to the upside as well. Again, we're still in a rough area, which is this area here. Could be forming a big head and shoulder pattern as well. I mean, I'll probably just mark that as a range as well. So we've seen a big moves, but they haven't really done anything crazy. And what I mean by that is they haven't broken key structure, because that's really the big thing, really. Because if you zoom out, look at the previous big bullish move here for XRP. The reason why breakouts like this is a big deal is because we're breaking through structure on the left. We had this long standing channel, which price broke out. That's a big thing, and of course the market did keep flying from there. If we were to go and break through highs now, then that would be a big deal, but we haven't really done that. Same thing with Bitcoin as well. Yes, big move, but we're coming back into an area which we could sell from. So until I see that happen, not going to get too excited. Dark Sean, okay, found your first entry point. Nice rejection, Doji. Okay. Watch it and wait. Okay, I'll go take a look. See. While on crypto, okay, Solana. Okay, we'll take a look, Lauda, and take a look at GJ as well. Is it Coinbase or Bitstamp? Which one's the last time I looked at? Okay, Coinbase. Okay, so Solana. Okay, so I think maybe the last time I looked at this was back over here. Funny enough. Since then, though, when was that? That was May 2024. Okay, that was a while ago. But since then, we've created new highs there, and of course, we've gone in a bit of a bearish mode because we've broken through some structure here, which isn't particularly great. Because let me just remove this so we can see it clearer. Because price was doing a pretty good job at respecting these high lows. We formed support there. Now we've broken through that. However, this is still a very strong level of support, and it's still a very meaningful level as well in terms of if we can hold that. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another big push to the upside as well. Break through that support, however, it might be the indication of a bearish trend forming there for Solana, which who knows how long that could last as well. But so far, we're still respecting it. Looks like we've got some resistance above us, which is giving us a bit of a sell there. So again, in terms of the long-term move, again, still very bullish on. But again, even with the new highs we created, it wasn't even a confident break. We kind of just spiked through as well. So not really a good sign. Depends on how long you're looking to trade this, or how long an opportunity you're looking at. You're looking at opportunity for a day, or a week, or a month. Investing. If you're looking for something a bit more short term, I think sales look pretty good, back to a push into support. And likewise, I think this is still a nice place to buy from. If we do see a break of this, then as I said, I would expect a bit of a bearish trend to form there, and a lot more downside in the next few weeks, few months, potentially there for Solana. Again, the thing with cryptocurrency is everything is so volatile. So I could be expecting something like this, but then something happens, and then you see a massive move like this happen out of nowhere, and things change, just like kind of what we saw in Bitcoin. But we can see, that times 10 here in Solana, really. So for now, that's what I'm expecting, unless something changes rapidly, which could happen pretty easily. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So keep an eye on that support level. It's held numerous occasions, so it's definitely an area which a lot of people are paying attention to, and the market is as well. If we can respect that, that still keeps me bullish. But for now, I still like the sells off that area. It was a pretty strong drop last week. Looks like we could probably see another continuation to the downside. So perhaps a nice double top there. That could be a nice sell at some point this week. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Solana. In terms of pound yen, so you said you got a nice rejection at 191. Okay, just shy of 191 though. But yeah, nice rejection there. So are you in the trade direction, or are you looking to enter? Okay, only thing to do is watch and wait. So I assume you're waiting to enter. But yeah, the rejection there is a sign that things are slowing down because, of course, we were looking very aggressive there on the 5 minute chart, but now we're slowing down a little bit. Um, Again, we'll see what happens here because with the market structure, I do expect us to eventually get back to the high, but of course, we very much could sell off and continue before that happens and could give you a nice sell before a nice buy there potentially as well. But yeah, we are seeing signs of slowing down. Haven't quite hit 191 yet, but not too far away. How are we looking on the daily chart? Again, daily chart is not. It says you can't really take the daily candle into consideration just yet because, of course, we're kind of only halfway through the candle there, so a lot can change in between now and the daily candle close. But what I can see is that for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daily candles, we've always been leaving wicks to the upside here. So I wonder, is this candle going to repeat that pattern, leave another wick and then potentially close as a doji before the end of the day? Or is this candle going to give us a strong close and symbolize potentially a breakout, which, like I said, could take us back into resistance up here? I think that would be an interesting close by the end of the day. Yeah, it looks like yen is a bit weak at the moment. So the yen pairs are pushing up pretty hard right now. Again, I'm still looking for that big sell in the yen pairs. Pound yen's looking for a big sell back to 180, but I'm just kind of taking a step back right now because we're respecting support pretty well. So I don't know if maybe we're going to get a bigger pullback maybe on the daily chart. We got a major high there, second one, potentially a third one could form, which could give me a really nice short, really, to be honest. I would not mind if something like that forms. It might take a while, but I would I think it would be worth the wait. But yeah, at the moment, things look pretty bullish here on the yen pair. So let's see how far this momentum sustains. Is it just the move for the afternoon and price is going to turn around, or are we meaning business here? In fairness, a lot of the yen pairs are coming back from key support areas. So that's kind of why I'm backing away from the sells, especially in the 4 hour chart, because we're respecting support pretty well. Let's take a look at dollar yen, respecting support pretty well there too, as we can see. So just being very careful here. Euro yen as well, respecting some really big support. I don't know how far we can move from these levels. Oh, okay, you're in the trade. Okay, on the bearish engulfing. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. I imagine your stop loss just above the highs there. Follow the trend. Any thoughts on New Zealand CHF longs? Okay, I'll go take a look at that. Potentially the weakness in NZD will have to reverse eventually. It's a good point. The NZD weakness will have to reverse eventually, but there's always a little bit of a don't know what the right word is for it. But expecting weakness to eventually run out or strength to eventually run out is always a difficult situation because you're correct. The weakness will run out. The strength will run out of a currency if it's very strong. But in terms of pinpointing where and when, that's always the difficult part. And you don't really want to base a trade around that unless you got very strong other confluences, which you're kind of basing a trade from, and your expectation for a weak currency to become strong or a strong currency to become weak is more just kind of an added bonus or an added reason why the trade could work out, because there's many occasions where a currency pair is weak and it just stays weak, and you don't want to be, you're just trying to buy something just because it's weak and you expect it to become strong, because there's not a lot of backing to that statement. It's true, we're not going to stay weak for long, but we can easily stay weak for another 24 hours, and that 24 hours will be enough to hit your stop loss, and then another 24 hours could be enough to hit your second stop loss as well. So just because the currency is weak is never really a good idea to base a trade from. But I understand your point. So yeah, New Zealand CHF is falling, and again, New Zealand has been weak, but also CHF has been strong. Not that strong. It's more to do with NZD, but CHF has been a little bit strong. I've been expecting New Zealand CHF to get back to this low here, which is 0.50300, we'll call it 400. We've done that, so potentially we could see a bounce now for New Zealand CHF in the bigger picture. I'm actually expecting us to get to this low here at 0.494. So I do expect us to see a lot more downside in the long term. But again, we could very much bounce from this area. We can move sideways, before we do see that move. I'm not necessarily expecting us just to keep falling straight away, although that could be what New Zealand CHF does do. But I am still bearish on the bigger picture. Again, zooming out, looking at this one in the long-term view, it's just been falling since pretty much the high of March 2021. We haven't really looked back since. Of course, there has been some upside. There's been some really nice buying opportunities, but more or less the trend has been very much down, and that's still very much the case since 2021 March, and this is March 2025. So a solid 4 years, it hasn't really budged in terms of the trend. So I don't expect that trend to shift now. It doesn't really make sense to. The probability of us pushing to the low here and taking out these lows versus suddenly being bullish, is doesn't really add up close. The chance of us taking out the highs is a lot higher. But like I said, doesn't mean we just push to the downside straight away. We could bounce. We might even have a bigger pullback and then go and take out the lows. So a lot of scenarios could play out, but the odds of us taking out the lows here is what I'm trying to get at, is pretty high. So that's why I'm only really looking to short New Zealand CHF, because that's likely the direction we're going to push towards. But yes, you're right. We have some nice support. We could catch a bounce off this area, but I would be looking to secure profits probably as early as this 0.509. I wouldn't try and be too greedy. We could see a big move, but I would try and protect myself as soon as we get to this area here, because that's the first area where we did see sellers kind of give us a strong move from. A lot of selling pressure from there. Could see another strong move as well. So it's a nice place for a buy, but as soon as we get to 0.509, I'll be a bit careful in terms of watching that move. But yeah, still pretty bearish on New Zealand CHF. I'm only looking to short it myself. I don't really have an opportunity to short it, in fairness. We're at support right now, so it doesn't make sense to be selling anymore unless we break and retest. There is no sell for me to take, really. And to be honest, I'm not too bothered because I am shorting Aussie CHF, which is a very similar currency pair. But yeah, we're at support. We could bounce. I just don't expect to go too far. Yeah, exactly. And that's what you get the name from, follow the trend. Many times we've seen like the yen pairs the past couple of years. Of course, now things are changing a little bit, but the yen pairs, they just kept going higher and higher and higher. I remember when the trend started back in 2021-ish, or was it 2022? Around then anyway, we broke to the upside. I remember dollar yen. It was very, very bullish at the breakout. I'll look at that very, very quickly. I think it was 2021. Or was it 2022? Yeah, no, it was 2021. Yeah, the breakout here. So when we had the breakout of this kind of descending channel, price broke out. And I remember this move here. The market was very, very overextended. I was like, okay, that's a really big move there for dollar yen. It's probably going to hit a top soon. It went bullish a little bit more, and then it had a big sell. I was like, okay, perhaps we're going to see a bit of a trend form. We didn't, kind of slowly push to the upside, stayed corrected, but then we had another big move. They had some more consolidation and another really big move. Slight pullback, another big move. So the market just kept pushing. It just kept pushing. Of course, this won't be the reality every time. Of course not. There's been big moves, but there's been a lot of consolidation in the past. But yeah, when things want to be bullish or bearish, they will be bullish. And your expectation of the market needs to take a breather is correct. It will take a breather eventually. But you just don't want to be the person who's just adamant that it has to become strong now, because that's how you get into trades where you lose a lot of money, because the trend's just continuing. You won't budge. The trend's not going to budge either, and things can go badly. Aussie dollar Antonio will take a look, no problem. Rafael Euro USD will break the high because it is going very fast. Okay, I'll take a look at that as well. Follow the trend because shows these things have always been swept the lows before retracement. Very, very true. That's a good point as well. Every time the price does sweep the lows, it sees some retracement, a pretty big retracement as well. So that probably be the better time to buy. Follow the trend after new lows are taken. Always that's always the time things are a little bit awkward for buyers as well, because if you imagine New Zealand CHF, let's say we go and take up some lows now, which would be, let's say we take up these lows here. As soon as price does that, a lot of buyers are a little bit scared to jump into the market because we're creating new lows, all-time lows, I'm pretty sure as well. And the time that the buyers are scared to get into the market and sellers start exiting their trades for profit taking, because of course, if you're a seller in the market, your target is going to be the low here most of the time, because that's the all-time low. Very rarely would you have a target past the all-time low, unless you're just trading stops. But if you had a target in terms of you looking to pull the trade, it would be at the low there. So you would have a lot of people closing positions, and that should give the market a natural kind of spring to the opposite direction. Hence, that'll be a good time to start looking to buy. But beforehand, I don't expect any big moves. That's a good point. And exactly, the name says it all. The name says it all. Okay, I'll go through Aussie dollar for Antonio. Then we'll take a look at Euro USD as well. Okay, Aussie dollar. So yeah, Aussie dollar, this has been pretty bearish as well. So I've been looking to buy Aussie dollar, but I didn't really see a setup form last week, and that kept me out of the trade. We had this counter trend line. I said if price can give us a strong close above this, that would be the trigger for me to get into the trade, but we never saw that. And of course, USD became very weak and very strong, sorry. And Aussie became pretty weak, and we had a big drop to the downside. So at the moment right now, I'm favoring some more downside here for Aussie dollar. I'm looking for a bit of a correction and then a big drop. If we're looking to buy Aussie dollar, then I would wait for us to get back to the lows here, because that seems to be the safest space for a buy, or the area which most likely will give us a bounce from that level, 0.614. But yeah, it's been a very strong move, especially for New Zealand dollar as well. I'm kind of looking for a correction on both of them and another drop. New Zealand dollar would be nice to see a correction to retest the low here, although I think it's just a little bit too far for us to get this short. In terms of it's a little bit too far for us to retrace. Maybe the market does retrace there, but I'm expecting a correction and a drop at some point here in the week, and same thing for Aussie dollar as well. And if you're looking to buy it, I would wait for us to reach support again. It's the only place that makes sense for a bounce. Yeah, it was quite a big drop last week, very impulsive as well. I wonder, is this trend still looking to continue? And this was just a big kind of consolidation for it. It could be the case. But I'll wait for us to break through the lows before I start really buying into that, or selling into that, I should say. But for now, yeah, looking at a bit of a correction there for Aussie and another drop. We'll look at Euro USD next. Ooh, is Euro strong? Or what's going on? Is DXY weak? Yeah, it's pretty weak. It is pretty weak. Again, I'm still looking to short the dollar up here. Hope I haven't missed the boat to that. I have marked out the consolidation here as an area we might bounce and then see the move. So I'm kind of banking on that there a little bit. But we'll see. But yeah, dollar is looking pretty weak right now. So euro is having some fun. I did point out this area here as a nice place to short euro intraday. It was very strong support last week. If we are going to see another drop to the downside, then this is the area I expect to happen from. I would watch out from the sells, because this has been a pretty aggressive move to the upside. It does look like we've kind of formed a bit of a bottom here as well, kind of like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and now a really aggressive move to the upside. So I would wait for some really strong rejection before jumping in, because with this momentum, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a slight rejection. That'll probably suck in some sellers, and then we just see price continue to the upside and go and take their stop losses. So I would wait for some really exaggerated rejection. And by that, I mean big wicks, big bearish engulfing candles, probably even a bit of consolidation. And then the price rejects. That would be something that I'd like to take. A slight bearish engulfing candle wouldn't be enough, judging the momentum right now. And if it goes and takes out that range, then yeah, maybe that is the high low. Maybe price is just going to push away. That could be the possibility as well. What was your question? We'll break the high because it's going up very fast. As in break this high here. It could do. It very much could do that. It very much could do that. Like I said, if it doesn't slow down, start to consolidate and reject, then yeah, we very much could break the high. I said at the beginning of the week, I was looking to long from here. Maybe I've missed the boat. But we'll wait and see. I don't really have any confidence there to enter anyway, so there's no trade there for me. Dark Shroom, first attempt failed, wait for the next one. That's life, my man. Not every trade's going to play out. Not every trade's going to play out. You had a great Friday last week, so I'm pretty sure you still be in profit, even from Friday alone. So not to worry. Not every trade's going to play out. As long as you're taking trades that, again, fit the plan well, you got your confidences met well, that's the most important thing. And the most important thing as well is, of course, reviewing your trades as well. Because maybe you take a trade and it looks like it fit the plan well, but then maybe you come back the next day or on the weekend or whenever, and you look back at that trade and like, they're quite, I'm not too sure actually. And then you mark that down and you learn from that as well. But of course, this is a game of probabilities. And because it's a game of probabilities, it means that sometimes things will go against you, as they do for every trader who ever lived. So yeah, never take losses to heart too much. But yeah, perhaps maybe momentum's still strong. It could still turn around. Perhaps maybe he wants to take you out first, then drop. That could be the situation. Or maybe price is just wanting to absolutely fly. The yen is pretty weak right now. So yeah, if the yen's going to be weak and wants to stay weak, then yeah, we might keep pushing. But yeah, looking very, very strong. I wonder how strong we close here, because the candle's literally been pushing as soon as I started the stream. Look, there's no bottom wick there. There's no bottom wick. So as soon as the stream started, we just started pushing, and we haven't looked back since here. And that's the same for like Euro Yen and CAD Yen to an extent as well. Because Euro Yen, no bottom wick. We've just been absolutely pushing to the upside. So I wonder how strong these candles will close. US 30, okay, we'll have a look. So yeah, US 30, bit of an awkward one. It does look like price may be forming a bit of a higher low right now, and perhaps could be seeing a new high pretty soon as well. Of course, I'm still looking for us to create a new all-time highs past 45K. It is still very much a bullish market. I zoom out, the market trend is still very much at play here. Got a lovely trend line there as well. It would be nice for us to go and test that trend line again, actually. But overall, you can see the trend's still up. So despite the double top there, we kind of had no major break of structure yet. So the bigger move is still to the upside, at least for now. However, I did say this looks like a nice place to short from. This is where we had a bit of a range in price consolidated there for a few days before dropping. So I still do like the shorts from here. I just don't expect it to go. I don't expect it to last too long. Yeah, I don't expect it to last too long. I would keep it very short and sweet with the shorts there. I actually like the buys quite a lot because you had a lot of rejection at these lows. Price had multiple attempts trying to break through support, but failed. So I do kind of expect this to be a higher low and push us back to the high. And because I kind of expect that to be a higher low, I wouldn't really want to be looking for a long-term push here, would I? Because if that is a higher low, and if it is a high low, that means we're going to get pushed back to the high. That means the shorts here won't be a big move. It might just be a correction for us to keep pushing. So it looks like a nice level to short from, but because the trend looks like it's possibly getting ready to continue again, I'll keep it short, sweet from that level and try and find some buys along the way. The best buy would be if price was to come back and retest this level. Otherwise, there might be a break and retest somewhere else. But it does look like a high low has been printed there. And yeah, I won't be surprised if we make a move back to 45K now. Dark Storm, where you can take 3 losses and 1 win and still be in profit. Yeah, that's the power of risk to reward. Is the power of risk to reward, which is why I'm such a big advocate of making sure your risk to reward is positive. It doesn't have to be necessarily that case in terms of 3 losses and you take 1 win and still be in profit. Even if it's just you take 1 loss, you take a win, and you're still in profit 0.5 R. So if your risk to reward is 1.5 to 1, I think that's still a good risk to reward to have. At least it's positive, which means that you don't have to depend on having a high win rate because, as every trader will know, you will go through some spells where your win rate will be down. Maybe market conditions not quite lining up with your trading style, and there will be times within the year, within the month, where your percentage is going to be a little bit lower, and your positive risk reward is going to be helping to combat that. And likewise, there'll be times where your win rate will be a little bit higher, and the market's very in sync, and you're performing very well. And of course, having a positive risk reward there as well will just accelerate your growth even further. Don't have to have a crazy risk reward like a 1 to 10, let's say. It doesn't have to be that big, but it just needs to be bigger than your average loss because it allows you to kind of fight on 2 fronts, your win rate and your risk reward. And again, it doesn't have to be, well, I do prefer it to be. You can still be profitable with a negative risk reward, but I wouldn't be such a big fan of that because it means that when you do get into a bit of a losing streak, you have to fight a little bit harder to get back out of it. Of course, if you do have a negative risk reward, you will have by default a slightly higher win rate, but still, I think it's just leaving yourself a little bit more work to do during your drawdown spells, especially if you have like a zero 0.5 risk reward. That means you take 3 losses, you have to make 6 wins. Again, you're not necessarily looking to take the trade too far, but still psychologically, I think it's a bit difficult to get out of that. But yeah, positive risk reward is a great thing to have going forward. Anyway, so I briefly went through some of the crosses. Again, with the crosses, I'm not such a big fan of them, but they are very, very bullish, especially for pound NZD's sake. So pound NZD, that's just absolutely. We're seeing a lot of momentum at the moment, aren't we? We're seeing a lot of momentum. Pound NZD's flying. Pound Aussie, I'm pretty sure that's pretty bullish. Looks like the markets are moving, which I definitely cannot complain with. The yen pairs are moving as well, not in the direction I want them to, but they're moving. Pound Aussie's flying there. Euro NZD, that one's flying as well. Looks like it's just about to take out the highs there. So the markets are seeing some movement right now. Looks like March is starting with a bang right now. And I can't complain. I can't complain because if the markets are moving, that means opportunities are quicker to form, quicker to play out as well. And as someone who trades on the 4-hour chart as well, that's always a benefit. So I'm liking this. How are some of the CAD pairs doing? I haven't really been focused on the CAD pairs for a while. I haven't really seen any setups, to be honest. But it does like Euro CAD is very bullish right now. Pound CAD, very bullish as well. So, okay, pound CAD looks like we're getting a breakout here. So we've got major resistance, which price looks like it's clearing right now. And if we see a strong close today, I would consider that a breakout. And could be seeing a lot more upsides. We do have the daily high on the left here. Perhaps that's where we're working our way towards. Not too far away. New Zealand CAD, I'm pretty bearish on this one. Did see a nice drop on Friday, but I haven't seen too much momentum outside of that. I think CAD might be a little bit weak right now. And Aussie CAD, I'm pretty bearish on this one as well. Haven't seen too much movement, but yeah, the markets are moving. The markets are moving. And let me have a look at some USD pairs. Of course, Euro, that was looking pretty bullish. Pound USD, what are we doing? That's looking pretty bullish as well. Not too sure if I'll get the setup I'm after. I mean, I never want to rule something out because there's been many times I've kind of ruled out trades of happening because they may look a little bit bullish earlier than expected. And then I forget about the pair, then the setup actually does form and I miss taking the trade. So I never want to rule something out until it's been ruled out. What that would mean is price breaking the high. If price breaks the high, then of course that pullback opportunity is not going to happen. It might still happen the next one, but at least the pullback for this leg is not going to happen anymore. So until we see that happen, I'm not going to rule it out. But of course, There's a lot of momentum right now, but we could, form another lower high and drop back down. So it still could be a trade idea. Just have to be a bit patient. But I still like the trade there for pounds. Still very bullish, but perhaps maybe form the higher low. We'll have to wait and see. Dollar CAD, what are we saying here? I'm still looking to short this one. Again, you can see dollar CAD has barely made a dent to the downside. Even with DXY showing some weakness right now. DXY has been selling off a little bit for the past few hours. Nothing crazy, but it has been seeing some downside. But dollar CAD hasn't budged. That's because CAD's pretty weak as well. So it's the battle between the weaker currencies right now. But in terms of dollar CAD, still looking for the lower high. Again, lovely drop there last couple of weeks. Now I'm looking for the pullback of that for another short, possibly back into the prior low. And this really is the area I'm looking to short from. I do want to see a bit more upside first for dollar CAD before looking to short it. But 1.45 is my area of interest. Looking for a push back into 1.43 and then 1.415. And dollar CHF is another one I'm keeping a close eye on as well. I like this area here. We've got the prior high there. Lovely drop. Below a high. Another low. And again, looking for a lower high in that area. Excuse me, to take it back into the low and possibly a lot further as well. Let's not forget, we're trading from a big weekly zone. So if we do sell, it could be a pretty big one. So in terms of my watch list, dollar CHF shorts, dollar CAD shorts, pound USD longs, pound USD longs in terms of the yen pairs, Aussie yen shorts, New Zealand yen shorts, dollar yen shorts as well. And I'm also keeping an eye on silver shorts. I really do like silver to the downside because we had that big kind of rejection last week. Price tried to break through resistance here and completely failed. So as long as we can stay below that level there at 32.5, there could be a really big sell back in 28.89. And that's the move I'm looking to capitalize on for silver. That could be a nice swing there. So silver, I'm going to keep a close eye. I prefer it to gold. Gold and silver do the same thing most of the time. So I don't really see a point trying to trade gold when I prefer silver for starters. It looks like a little bit better of a trade. There's more confidence behind it. Gold, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. We're selling off, yes, but in the middle of nowhere. At least silver, I've got a strong reference, which is the big level of resistance there, which we're battling at. So I like silver a lot better. And because they do the same thing most of the time, there's no point in me looking to trade them both. So I'm going to focus on silver this week for some sells. And the opportunity I'm looking at is the retest of this zone here at 32, pretty much bang on the money. So we'll see how that goes. But that's pretty much it for my watch list. Of course, managing Aussie CHF as well. This one's just kind of missed my my take profit there. But again, there's no sign of reversal for this one just yet. So no need to panic really. Still got lovely consolidation just above us there as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised if you would see a bit of a correction, maybe start the week off, come back, test that zone, and perhaps get the continuation back into the low. But again, it's a similar situation to New Zealand CHF, which we looked at in a lot of detail not long ago. The market is very bearish. It's been falling since March 2021. And again, we've just entered March 2025. And the trend is still very much to the downside. So long term, expecting a push to these lows here. And I'm trading that direction. So I can't complain. And again, the plan is to take most of my profit at this low, about 80%, and we'll leave about 20% to run to these lows. But yeah, not too far away. We got a big level of support here on the left to contend with, so I have to watch out, but I do think we'll break. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at. Like I said, no other trade I've got on now and no trade on which I'm looking to place just yet. Anyway, I'll probably say the closest one would probably be dollar CAD because we're more or less touching the zone just underneath it. So maybe this might give me a setup in the next day or two. Pound USD, I've got to see a lot more retracement. Dollar CHF is not too far either. That could be an entry in the next day or two as well, just to push a little bit higher to 0.905. And maybe silver might give me an entry as well, maybe by the end of the week. Actually, next day or two as well. That could be a position there. Yen pairs, that might be more than a week. Maybe not New Zealand yen or Aussie yen. They're not too far away. New Zealand yen pull back into this area here, and Aussie yen likewise as well. That could happen in a week if we stay pretty bullish there. So I have to keep an eye on those ones, but more so dollar CHF and dollar CAD and silver. Those three shorts I'm looking at could present pretty soon. So that's what my focus is. Again, Aussie CHF, I'm very laid back with my approach to that trade. So I'm just going to let the market do its thing. And I'll probably keep an eye on Bitcoin as well to see how that unfolds. I'm very interested because if Bitcoin does break the high there, that consolidation just ahead of us on the daily chart, then I'm expecting Bitcoin to push the highs, but I'm expecting a big move because this is a really big sell-off followed by a really big recovery. So I would imagine that would have been trapped a lot of sellers down low, maybe taking out some early buys as well. And now we're going to see the full force of Bitcoin push to the upside. So that would really interest me as well, and see how that affects other crypto markets too. But besides from that, again, just keeping it very, very simple. If I've got an opportunity, I'm there to take it. If not, go about your day. No need to spend endless time on the charts as well. Unless, of course, if you're learning, you're back testing, collecting data, testing things out, of course, spend as much time doing that as possible. But if you're looking to apply an edge to the market, then actually the less time you at the charts, the better. Of course, making sure that the charts are the right times and you trade your windows. But spending too long on the charts probably end up doing more harm than good because you just probably take a rubbish trade just out of boredom, just to feel like you're doing something. And again, that will affect your P&L in the long run. So keeping it simple, take the trade you're meant to take. That's the best way forward. But guys, we have come to the end of the stream. If you have found it useful, guys, please be sure to drop a like. I don't think I mentioned that the whole stream there. If you did enjoy it, drop a like. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well. It does really help out. So make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel. Completely free to join. Link in the description to that. Also at the top of the chat, you will find updates there regarding Elevating Traders. You can chat with other traders, chat with myself. You can also share ideas there. I share ideas there as well. So if you're interested, go check it out. Free to join. Link in the description and also at the top of the chat. Like I said, drop a like before you leave. Subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Do really appreciate that. I'll be live again every day this week as usual. Every weekday this week as usual from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi, and we'll see what we've got going on in the charts together. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.